From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard has the evening off. Our top story, the Fairbanks Board of Education met yesterday to discuss business relating to local schools in the interior. Reporter Ryan Grimes attended the meeting with his camera recording.
Following a few musical productions from the Ann Wien Elementary School Band and a presentation to board members regarding business at Ann Wien, the board recognized 3 teachers who were awarded for their work on career and technical education in the interior.
Miss Wendy Graham, she's a regular and consistent example of inspirational teaching, and students of all ability levels within our school with all kinds of interests and background seek out her courses.
Jerry Millian and Kelly Shaw share many similarities in their teaching. Their classrooms and labs, more commonly referred to as shops, are full of the latest engineering marvels and loaded with science, technology, engineering, and math.
Afterwards, the school board praised members of the Citizen Budget Review Committee for their detailed report that recommended the administration prevent larger class sizes during the next fiscal school year. The district budget is scheduled to be available by February next year.
It was a group of folks who were very engaged in the budget process. They already knew what the issues were and were able to really deal with this at a mastery level of budget review, which is not something easy to attain.
Chief Financial Officer Lisa Pierce also reported more students were enrolling into the district's BEST program, which provides families with educational materials to homeschool their own children.
Our projection for BEST was 235, so that was good news, 51.83 additional students at the count. And I was told this evening that that count is actually, we're up over 300, 316, I believe, is actually our enrollment at this point in time.
The school board will conduct a work session involving the school budget on November 30th, with a regular meeting scheduled the night after on December 1st. This is Ryan Grimes reporting.
Alaska Native leaders and government officials joined together to discuss the relationships they've developed while managing natural resources together. Speakers at the 2-day symposium hosted by the UAF College of Rural and Community Development touched upon the challenges and current state of co-management agreements. Topics included the oversight of fish and wildlife policy between tribal, state, and federal governments and cross-cultural communication. Those attending also broke into small group sessions to discuss the best ways to address challenges in their communities. Keynote speaker Jamie Pinkham says learning how to work with public systems facing limited resources will become important to co-management relationships moving forward.
Our public institutions are really stressed. They're stressed in terms of the financial resources we need, bringing appropriate talent and expertise to address these situations. And so co-management provides us that avenue of doing sharing, where we're not just dependent on one place to provide all the resources to meet these needs.
The Breast Cancer Detection Center of Alaska will continue with current policies despite recommendations from the American Cancer Society. BCDC hosted a discussion led by Dr. Jed Malin last night to make sense of current screening mammography guidelines. Currently, the ACS recommends that women between the ages of 40 and 44 use their own judgment on getting screened. The rationale is that screenings for women in their 40s cause extra stress and anxiety and may lead to unneeded biopsies. Dr. Malin advises that all women over 40 years of age should receive yearly screening mammograms. Odette Butler at BCDC concurs. U.S. Secretary of Commerce Penny Pritzker released a report saying her administration believes the recently completed TransPacific Partnership will benefit Alaskan businesses. The agreement reduces tariffs and other barriers to businesses with 12 Pacific Rim countries. U.S. commercial service documents state around 35% of Alaskan goods exported in 2014 went to nations that are now part of the pact. Department of Commerce officials say they believe lower expenses will create job growth in the last frontier. Critics of the TPP argue the agreement primarily benefits corporations at the expense of workers. Alaska Export Assistance Center Director Deborah Franklin says easier access to global markets will help mitigate the effects of domestic economic slumps.
And that will help the small businesses throughout the state to be able to have stability in good times and bad as well. If you're shipping to other markets that may be on a different cycle than you are, that helps offset and put an even production cycle into your business.
When we come back with the recent cold snap, it's a wake-up call to be sure your dogs are prepared for colder weather. We'll tell you how. Also soon, familiar sound of bells ringing as the Salvation Army will launch their Red Kettle Kickoff Day this Saturday. Stay with us. And welcome back. To help address a $3.4 million cut to its fiscal year 2016 budget, the Alaska court system will close courts statewide on certain days. All courts statewide will be closed to normal business on 2 days before the end of the year. The court will continue to conduct arraignments and emergency proceedings on the closure days, but most judicial officers and court staff will be on unpaid leave. The closures are among many measures that the court will take to assist it in dealing with cuts to its budget while upholding its constitutional responsibilities and avoiding layoffs of current employees.
The court saves about $250,000 a day if we're closed and employees are on leave without pay. As part of our effort to absorb our budget cuts, we're closing on the day after Thanksgiving and the day before Christmas. We're trying to find days that would have the least impact both on the public and our employees. And lots of people take those days off anyway. I'm trying to balance being open as much as possible and absorbing our cuts.
Law enforcement officers and firefighters often are the ones praised after a job well done, but there are those who direct the operation from the desk we don't hear much about. At the Fairbanks Police Department Dispatch Center, employees are tasked with calling for the appropriate response to the right location on a minute's notice. Dispatch manager Stephanie Johnson says that it's a dispatcher's job to attain and call out the right facts to emergency responders following a 911 call requesting for help. Dispatchers have access to housing utility availability, home floor plans, street mapping, and other means of public information that could help save lives. Johnson adds that dispatchers are often tested on prioritizing emergencies and keeping calm under pressure.
Our contact is very quick, relatively speaking, usually minute, 2-3 minutes, something like that. And then we've got the emergency responders on the way and then dealing with the emergency responders. And so sometimes it's very helpful to see how your piece of the puzzle fit in with the whole response. And that really helps put the piece together.
As we see the thermometer drop, it's time to double check your pet's safety. Many Alaskans have cold weather dogs like huskies or malamutes, but these animals must be acclimated to the temperature and given time to grow a thick undercoat. If you have a small or thin-haired pooch, then you may have to do a little extra work and put them in protective clothing. During cold snaps, it's important that the dog has an insulated house with fresh straw. Canines also need to have clean, unfrozen water when left outside and more food than usual due to the cold.
Well, use a lot of common sense. Make sure that your pet stays safe, that they are warm and dry. And then, like a larger breed dog, it can be out at 20 below and not seem to be affected. But, definitely check their paws. They might have to wear booties or a warm coat. And especially in the darkness, having a coat with reflective strips and then a light on them so that people can see them is really beneficial too.
The Salvation Army of Fairbanks is gearing up for the holidays and will kick off its fundraising campaign this weekend. Red Kettle Kickoff Day will be Saturday at noon at Fred Meyer West at Airport and University. The red kettle has been a symbol of Christmas in the United States since 1891. The bell ringers will be asking for donations in Fairbanks and North Pole. Corps Officer Major Joe Murray said they used the money during the winter for a number of services and programs.
We're able to reach out to families that are in need for clothing and food, and different housing, rental. There's a lot of other types of services that we do depending on what the needs are. And then we have our programs that are ongoing, our after-school program. We have men and women's programs, and all of the programs, the income from the kettles helps us either directly or indirectly.
Up next, Joe Cook has previews of upcoming hockey games from UAF to high school. You'll hear from Alaska Volleyball seniors before their final matches, plus you can vote for the next Alaska Sports Hall of Fame class. All that and more after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your Wednesday Hump Day Sportscast. After a split the last 2 weekends in WCHA play, the Alaska Nanooks hit the road for the second straight weekend. Friday and Saturday, they will battle Fairbanks State in Big Rapids, Michigan. The Nooks will have their hands full with the Bulldogs team that has the top 2 scorers in the conference with Gerald Mayhew and Corey Mackin. Goalie Darren Smith is ranked in the top 5, and he lost 1 game all year with a 4-1-1 record. Fairbanks State is 3rd in the WCHA with a 4-4 record. They are 5-5-2 overall. This will be interesting. Both teams are last in the penalty kill, but Alaska is 3rd in scoring, while Fairbanks State is next to last in scoring defense. With a 4-6 record and a 2-4 mark in the WCHA, history could be on the Nanook side. UAF has won 4 out of their last 6 matchups the last 2 seasons, but their last one at Fairbanks State was back in October of 2012 in the CCHA days. Game 1 is at 3 p.m. Alaska time on Friday. The Nanook volleyball season will be coming to an end this week. The team will try to finish strong, led by their 3 seniors. Sam Hartoon, Samantha Hesterman, and Miranda Greaser are the senior trio. They will be honored before their career finales against Concordia on Saturday. Thursday, UAF will take on Western Oregon. The seniors have had great individual accomplishments over the years and have played major parts in the team's success the last couple of seasons. Hartoon is the new GNAC record holder in kills for her career. Greaser had a career-high 74 assist game to go along with career-high in total helpers. Hesterman played a career-high 97 sets this season. She also had a career-high 23 dig game this year. Today they reflected on their careers and the fact that they have 2 more matches left to make the most out of.
I don't know, I'm just really thankful for everything I've gotten to experience here. And Alaska is definitely a crazy place, and it's like nothing I would have experienced back home. So I'm just really thankful for the opportunity that I had to come up here.
It's been amazing. Like, the community is amazing, the teams are amazing. Volleyball, aside from all the rest of the athletics, it's just like a whole big family. I think both the games that we have Thursday and Saturday are both winnable, and if we win both games, that'll leave us 7th in the conference, which we haven't been 7th in the conference in a long time. We've had big wins this season against SPU both times at the NNU, so we know that we can do it, so it's just putting it all together.
Interior sports fans, you have the opportunity to make a difference in the next Alaska Sports Hall of Fame class. Public voting is now open. There are a number of candidates in the People, Events, and Moments category with interior ties. In the People category, you have recently retired Lathrop basketball coach Milo Griffin, UAF rifle head coach Dan Jordan, Yukon 800 and Iron Dog winner Tyler Huntington, to name a few. In the event category, Arctic Man, the Open North American Championship, the Yukon 800 riverboat races are candidates. Interior candidates in the Moments category are North Pole football upsetting West Anchorage in 2004 for the state title, and Lathrop beating Mount Edgecombe in the first boys basketball state final in 1959, and Monroe winning the state title in 1979 over East Anchorage. You can make your votes up until November 30th at alaskasportshall.org. That's alaskasportshall.org. This weekend will be a busy one for high school hockey. Coming up from down south, Chugiak and South Anchorage will visit the interior to take on North Pole, Lathrop, and West Valley. The undefeated Wolfpack will host South tomorrow at 3 p.m. at the Dipper. West Valley beat South 7-0 in their season opener earlier this month. North Pole will take on Chugiak at 6:30 at the Polar Ice Center in North Pole. Thursday is also the first day of a Greatland Hockey Tournament. The Hutchinson Invitational Tournament, or HIT, will be going down at the Patty Ice Arena. This year's field includes Monroe, Delta Junction, Tri-Valley, and the host Hutchinson. Monroe enters the tournament with a 2-0 record. And now we end the Sportscast with the Week 10 winner for the Pro Football Challenge. And guess what? That winner is me. Well, sort of. The actual winner is Teresa C. Congrats, Teresa. You get a large 1-topping pizza from Pizza Hut. Teresa and I both tied for first place. We both made 9 out of 14 picks right. But she did have upsets in Houston and Detroit winning, so I humbly bow out to Teresa. It was clearly a tough week to pick games, so as we look at the PFC standings, Eagles for Life and Maximus are tied for the lead with 95 points. True Grit 69 is second with 94, and NE Pats Fan 89 is third with 92. I have 73 points so far, and Mike Fussell has 66. Getting your picks for Week 11, Thursday night's football game features the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's a wrap for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Wednesday night newscast. Mike Schultz once again talking about the weather. And it's amazing when the clouds clear out how cold it gets. That cold air just rushes in and replaces any warm air we had because the clouds were capping it and keeping it contained there. But boy, when the clouds clear out, that cold air came in and we got down to 18 degrees below zero at one time this afternoon. We should see a warming trend on the horizon. I'll tell you why in just a little bit. Photograph night sent in by Tom Barron, a cold winter sunset. As you can see the clouds in the top there, and again it's a very chilly, frigid picture. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And just again a reminder that the photos are available in our Fab Photo calendar. It's out free right now. You can find it at places like Seekins Ford, River City Cafe, and Graphic North, just to name a few. And we'll be naming them every night to give you an idea where you can pick them up. And again, they're good stocking stuffers. Here's your numbers for today. 9 degrees below zero was the high, and then the low last night, 11 below, but it was one time today, 18 degrees below. At 9 below was at 11 o'clock about 1 o'clock this morning. Now, a record high was 41 in 1916, record low 36 below in 2011. Your sunrise and sunset under 6 hours of daylight, 5 hours and 59 minutes to be exact, a loss of 6 minutes. Well, what's going on? More showers and snow falling across southeast Alaska, but we're keeping an eye on this big monster storm coming in across the Bering Sea. That's going to be bringing with it not only warmer temperatures, but a lot of snowfall to the southwest portion of the state, and also a lot of wind across the interior. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. What's going on across the state and in general? Well, over southeast Alaska, there's still some snow around Juneau, but just partly cloudy skies at Ketchikan. Anchorage, only 1 degree with snow shower activity all day long. Some rain around Juneau, I should say Kodiak, 31 degrees. Clear skies at Cold Bay and 36. Now you move up to Bethel, it's 30 degrees, but what a contrast in temperatures. 4 degrees at Nome, 7 below at Barrow, and Fort Yukon, 20 degrees below zero for their high. How about that? On the satellite and radar, that big storm that was bringing all the snow and the storms earlier this week is moving rapidly across the Great Lakes. Another storm still moving ashore in the Pacific Northwest, bringing yet more rain to those folks. And the snowfall that is associated with that storm system could amount to as high as 6 to 10 inches around near Des Moines and even Chicago. And that's going to be moving rapidly. That's good news there. That'll be happening tomorrow night and into Saturday, it looks like. Now, what's going on as far as our newest jet stream? Again, the jet stream taking a big dive down to the south, helping to pull that cold air in from Canada. Showers and storms across the deep south. Nice weather over the western half of the country. Once again, time for our kids' weather. This week we're talking with the kids from Nordale Elementary School. Here's a young man with a question for me.
Hi, my name is Loyal, and I am from the 5th, 6th class at Nordale Elementary. And my question is, how are bolts of lightning created?
Well, basically, Loyal, lightning is electricity that's caused by, static electricity. It's static electricity in the sky, and it's caused by raindrops and ice crystals moving against each other and creating friction, and that's what happens when you get lightning. Pretty interesting. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank, tomorrow night the teacher will be here presenting a very unique and interesting weather fact. All right, here's our forecast real quickly across the rest of the state. Mostly cloudy in Barrow, windy and snow at Nome, and chance of snow for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we're looking at temperatures warming up nicely, but strong winds to 70 miles per hour for Healy and Delta Junction. Over southeast Alaska, the snow is going to continue with 3 to 5 inches expected in Juneau, but rain and snow at Ketchikan. And out to the southwest, we're looking at periods of rain at Cold Bay, rain and snow likely for Bethel and Kodiak. Now down around the Anchorage Bowl, there's going to be some really wild weather going on there. 2 to 4 inches expected at Anchorage, 3 to 6 inches in Homer, but 12 to 20 inches for Valdez. Their heavy snow is picking up. They usually get it this time of year. And real quickly, wanted to remind you we have a high wind warning in effect for the Delta Junction and Healy area. Winds will become very strong and gusty at morning with gusts to 70 miles per hour. Our forecast for the overnight low, 19 degrees below zero, and clear and very cold. You might see some auroras tonight too, possibly. And as far as tomorrow's forecast, actually 10 above, not 10 below, 10 above, with increasing clouds and temperatures continuing to warm. And you can look at the temperature on Friday, 21 degrees on Friday, Saturday 20 degrees, and then temperatures in the single digits to above, teens above by Sunday and Monday. And again, a chance of a little bit of snowfall in the picture for Friday and Saturday. Overnight lows will also be warming up very nicely to 0. That's very nice compared to what we've been looking at lately.
Sure is. Golf clap ensues. Thanks, Mike. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, ISIS released a new video today threatening New York City and Times Square. Lester Holt has more on that.
For more news updates and the latest bus schedule changes, tune in tomorrow morning during the Today Show with J.R. Lewis.
All right, from all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Night.